Hello everyone, today I'm doing a review into the MG3. This is a hire car I've got while Valentina the Fiat is in having a service. As you can see, quite a nice looking car, quite tidy lines, nice alloy wheels. Fair size boot, massive lip though for loading. Your basic tyre inflator it looks like in there, and hazard triangle. Plenty of room for tools though, for a lightweight toolbox with some basic tools in. I've driven this car. It's a very good drive. There's good and bad things about it. It's not a top of a range car. It's a lot of cheap, scratchy plastic. The seats are quite tidy. A fair bit of leg room inside. It goes all right as well. 1.5 litre engine, four pistons, not 3. So it's a 4-piston engine on this car. Good headroom. On the bad point, the solid suspension. The suspension is very firm. You feel every bump. It's not very comfortable with Britain's disgraceful roads. However, on a good point, there's no body roll. It is solid. I'm guessing the solid suspension is because it's an MG based on the old 60 MGBs of the 1960s. I'd like to notice about this car when driving it. Right, I'll zoom in on the dashboard. People who have owned cars in the 1980s might be able to relate to this. To me, it reminds me of the 1980s Skoda Estelle. If you look at the dashboard and the wipers, and the windscreen, zoom in a little bit more, it's a bit like driving a Skoda Estelle. It's solid suspension. The engine, like most modern engines, sound like a Hoover. A nice Miltech exhaust, and it would sound for dog's bollocks, this car. But overall, it's a tidy car, and it's got lots of headroom. I've already driven the car, and it is a pokey car. It's mirrors don't fold, just basic. Everything's basic. You see a lot of, you've got your just plastic door cards. Road noises are poor, terrible. Lots of road noise. It's a very noisy car. It's no insulation, soundproofing whatsoever. However, if you bought one of these cars, you could take it to a car radio specialist and have them insulate, soundproof it. You could have, I would advise getting the insulation under the carpets and the floor well, and in the door cards and ceiling, go for the full Monty insulation, and that would make it a lot quieter. Otherwise it's a good car. I can't show you the test drive because I've forgotten my phone holder, so I've got nowhere to put my phone, and so I can't drive whilst holding the mobile phone. But if you want to test drive one, go to an MG dealer and ask for a test drive. You might quite like it, but if you're more of a soft suspension person, I wouldn't recommend it. The suspension is solid. But if you're in Rosber IAM and you like to drive a little sporty up on the quiet roads away from all the traffic lights, then you probably like the firm suspension, the handling. 5-speed gearbox, could do with a 6th gear personally. My Fiat has a 6-speed gearbox, except my Fiat is sluggish compared to this. Well, it's a lot lighter car. But there's a review of the MG3. So if you feel like you'd like one, a cheap car, they're only around between 10 and 15,000, these cars. I personally would have a Dacia Sandero, because they're very both. They've got more comfort, a lot more comfort, and they're nice cars. I'll show you under the bonnet before I go. Oh, there's the engine. Quite a reasonably sized engine for a 1.5 litre DVVT, whatever that stands for. And to any car mechanics out there, I welcome your comments on this engine, whether you could give a bit more information on this engine. But quite a tidy engine. Dipstick, easy to get at. The windscreen washers, yeah, easily accessible. Just a cheap basic car really, but quite tidy, quite nice.